What's going on, guys? I want to continue to highlight and go over the risk management strategy that I've been using pretty much all week on this new trading combine. Now, I'm going to make a separate video going over some of the trades, going over some of the stats, how long I was in these particular trades, this, that, and the other. What I want to outline on this video is going to be the NQ chart. We're going to use the 5-minute time frame. We're going to use the 20 SMA, the 200 SMA, and then we're going to use that 1-to-1 or 2x ATR kind of take profit strategy. So if you guys have been following the last, 3-4 videos that I've made, putting out this new kind of risk management plan that I'm using, I think it's very, very good, right? Everyone has their own cup of tea. For me, I'm an options trader. Those of you guys in Evolution Traders mentorship, you guys know that I'm trading options predominantly right off the open the first hour. That's where I'm going to make my bread and butter. However, I do find that using prop firms for additional payouts, prop firms for additional leverage is definitely something that we need to be taking advantage of, because it's just like adding more SKUs to your product line, right? So think about if you have a particular business and you sell, let's say, I don't know, water bottles, right? Well, if you're just selling, what size is this water bottle? If you're just selling a 33 ounce, what happens if someone wants a gallon? What happens if someone wants maybe a 16 ounce or a 24 ounce or so forth and so forth, the 50 ounce, right? So the more SKUs you have to your product line, the more revenue you're able to generate if it's profitable. So again, I believe in adding some of these prop firm accounts, getting them funded, this, that, and the other. So I currently have 2 accounts that are funded, one with Top Step, one with Apex. I'm working on a second with Top Step, and I'm working on 2 more with Apex. But this strategy is allowing me to take trades essentially risk-free, essentially, stress-free. Because what I'm doing is I'm looking for my 20 SMA plays. I'm looking for them in conjunction with my bias. So for example, I came into the day expecting a little bit of a pullback. And that's not to say that I'm a bear. That's not to say that I think the market's going all the way back down to zero. But I think we need a little bit of a rest if we want a stronger move and a continuation push to the upside. As I say that, the market continues to push to the upside here. Let's kind of recap and go and see what's going on with the NQ today. So the NQ was in essentially around a 100-point range, right? From around 15,800 to around 15,900. This range, you can see we came to the top of the range. We came all the way back down to the bottom. We came to the top of the range, and we traded sideways in the upper portion of this range the later half of the day. As we come into the close here, we're making a push towards the upper half of the range. Now, what I'm looking for is, depending on my bias, depending on where we're sitting on the daily chart, where we're sitting on the hourly chart, is going to determine whether I'm looking to take 20 SMA plays to the downside or 20 SMA plays to the short side. The last thing that I want to do is take my 20 SMA plays, like for example, you see a nice little play here at 6:45 a.m. I don't really want to take these plays within the first 30 minutes to the long side if we're running right into supply. I would rather take 20 SMA plays to the downside where we have a lot more room to pull back into support, and then look for 20 SMA plays to the long side at the bottom near support. So I'm kind of sitting back waiting. I seen this setup happen here at 7:15. However, there was no confirmation. However, we do get our first setup here at 7:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Now, guys, this is what I've been doing, the last couple of days at least. Honestly, I'm looking at the ATR, right? I'm looking at the ATR. So at this current time, the ATR is around 21. So if we were to 1x the ATR, means we're going to take profits at around 20 points. If we 2x that ATR, we're going to take profits at around 40. What I've been doing for my stop losses, because I'm only playing like 2 or 3 contracts max, sometimes I'm only playing 1, I'm setting like a 45-50 point stop loss. On this particular play here, I was already looking at the high of day. I put a 50 point stop loss. Some of you out there right now might be going insane, right? Because I know a lot of you guys have like a 5 tick stop loss. Some of you guys have like a 10 point stop loss. With the NQ, it's just not enough, right? It's just not enough. Unless you're a master magician scalper and you're able to do that consistently, and when I mean consistently, I don't mean you win every trade. I'm just saying, if you're a master scalper where you can snipe these entries with a 10 point stop loss or a 5 tick stop loss or a 12 tick stop loss, and your win rate is 90%, be my guest, right? Be my guest. But for example, my hit rate is around a 55 to 60% win rate. Okay, it's not great, it's not horrible. I know I'm going to split hairs, I'm going to lose a little less trades than I'm going to win, but my winners, as long as I'm taking profits at 1R or 2R or whatever, I should be profitable at the end of the week, the end of the month, the end of the quarter. It's the way I've always managed it for my options. It's the way I'm managing it for my futures. So far, it's working out pretty well. So I'm throwing on a 50-point stop loss, okay? Now, I realistically don't want to lose the full 50 points. Obviously, no one ever wants to, but I want to give the trade enough room to develop. I want to give the trade enough room to be able to unfold. And if we give up more than 50 points on the particular move, I don't want to be in the trade anyways, right? Even if it wicks over 50 points and comes all the way back down and I would have made money, I don't want to be in the trade anyways. So if we look at the 20 SMA play, we look at this red box, this is a 50-point stop loss. If we were to break outside this box, I'm going to quickly get out of it. I'm also doing a 1-to-1 with take profit. So on one contract, you're looking to make $100. On two contracts, you're making $200. On three contracts, you're making $300. And even with that, even with a 50-point stop loss, guys, the most you can lose on three contracts is $300. Most of you guys right now are losing $300 in 5 minutes or $300 in 2 minutes trading 2 micros, trading 1 micro, trading 10, 15 micro, or excuse me, 1 mini, 2 minis, or trading 10, 15 micro contracts. Some of you guys are getting stopped out 4 or 5 times for $80 here, $100 here, $200 here, before the move even has done anything, just because you're oversized. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at the ATR, I'm understanding that it's around 20 to 25. If we start to push down and I notice that the price action is starting to stall out and we're really not making any new lows, I'll take some profits at the ATR, right? On the 5-minute time frame, 20 points, 25 points. If I notice that we're kind of trickling down and we're kind of holding the level and we're still kind of grinding down, I'll hold for a little bit more. I do have a hard take profit at that 50 points. I do have a hard stop loss at the 50 points. Now, mind you, that doesn't mean that I have to hold for 50 points. I'll sell at 25. I'll sell at 30. I'll sell at 40. I'll sell at 48 if I feel like it, right? So I'm a discretionary trader. What that means is I'm not mechanical. I do have some hard stop losses to kind of protect myself. I've got some hard take profits in case it just wants to go there in lightning speed. However, I'm not mechanical in a sense to where every time it needs to hit the 1-to-1. Every time I need to make 1R. I might take it off 0.5R, 0.75. You know, I might take it off early. It just depends on the way that I feel. Now, again, I'm going to make a recap video showing you guys my stats, but today is another day where I'm at 100% win rate. I think it was actually 80% because one trade was a scratch. I try to get in a little bit later in the day on a scalp on a continuation play. But again, it's a very high hit rate with very minimal risk. And that's what you want to do. You want your trading strategy and your game plan to be so simple that it's almost mindless, right? You see the play set up. We understand that we could consolidate. We're understanding that we're on a 2-week run up. We're understanding that there's potential to pull down into rising support. So why not look for the short position? Why not, right? I don't want to take a new long position just constantly breaking high of day, high of day, high of day, high of day. I want to get a better price. I want the pullback. So if you notice, the 50-point stop loss here was never hit and the 50-point take profit was hit. So if you were trading 3 contracts, you would have made $300 on this particular play. Now, we did have another play that set up, and I'm going to show you to the long side. And I'm going to show you why this trade looks a lot better. Because after the little bit of a spike here, we had this, kind of pull back here all the way to the bottom of this range. So we've established that we're consolidating a little bit. Now, if we find a little bit of a floor and we start to push up to the high side, well, we already know where the range is at to the top side. This 15,905, it's clearly up here. This wick here is telling you where the high side's at. So I would not be opposed to taking the long position coming off the floor. I'm not opposed to taking the short position at supply. You see how this starts to make sense. So where is the mindless and simple trade to take? Well, if we see our close over the 20 SMA here, what are we going to do? Throw on that 50-point stop loss here, Let's trade 1, 2, 3 micros. You understand you're going to lose 100, 200, or $300. I think that's sufficient enough. And then what we're going to do here is set that 50-point take profit. So if we do manage to get the 50 points, you notice here, it hit and pulled back. I'm starting to notice something here about the NQ and the 50-point stop loss and the 50-point take profit. Now, again, that does not mean I want you to go out there and target 50 points. Look at, if you get into this play here and you start getting 10 points, 15 points, 20 points, it pulls back, you're only up 15 points, it goes up 20, 25, 30, and it's kind of consolidating and it's not really pushing higher, take your 30 points. Take your 30 points. That's a win. It's a win for you. It's a win for everyone. It's a win in the books. Again, you didn't have to risk any of the 50 points. You were pretty good. You're 2 for 2 on the day. You could have essentially taken 60 points out, taking 30 and 30. You could have essentially taken 50 points out of the market total on 2 trades if you took 25 and 25. I'm just putting the 50-point zone here so I can see it. So I know for a fact that if we do touch it, I need to be thinking about getting out. And lo and behold, look at how it ran up 50 points and pulled right back down. So again, the 50-point zone is there so I can kind of understand where I want to be taking my profits into. And the 50-point stop loss is set here hard, right? Like if we lose this zone, I got no interest in being in the trade. Make your trading plan simple. Make your trading plan easy. Your trades should be mindless. Not a lot of thought should be going into it, because at the end of the day, not you, not me, not the next guy, not the market, not the market analyst on CNBC. Nobody knows where the market is going. Anyone who tells you they know where it's going is full of shit. What you have to do is manage risk. Be a phenomenal risk manager. Now, I'm not telling you to go out there and put on one mini contract with a 50-point stop loss. That's absurd. You'll be down $2,000, $2,500 on a total play. We have to play conservative, giving ourselves a 50-point stop loss. Those of you guys who want to be snipers and take 5 points a scalp and you want to play 4 or 5 mini contracts, be my guest. The longevity of doing something like that doesn't really pan out, at least for me, okay? For you, it might be different. You might get lucky, you might make some good wins, you might have some good trades, but if you want to do this for a long, extended period of time, you have to have something that's fundamentally sound, right? You have to practice good risk management on a day in, day out basis. I don't care about hitting the home runs. I was actually able to do almost $400 or $500 in profit after commissions, and I'll make a new video on that going over the stats. But over $400 trading just like this, right? 3 contracts at a time, 2 contracts at a time, you know, selling for 20, 30 points and looking for a pullback and playing that continuation because we're still currently in the existing play. Again, analyze what you're doing. Focus on risk management. Focus on being a disciplined trader. Focus on taking the same setups each and every single day. Focus on looking at the same thing each and every single day. If you guys want to join, you guys want to trade with me live, you guys want to get access to the courses, that link is down in the description box below. I'll see all of you guys on the inside.